I got called by Google Maps. Now, I am playing on Pika Network again today. You'll see why in a future video, hopefully. But this video topic is actually really weird because of the weird circumstances of it, but I'll get into it in a second. But the first thing I'm going to announce this video is that I am hosting an editor competition in the Discord server. So if you're interested, join the Discord server, and there's a form in the description in this video. So, why did Google Maps call me? Well, it wasn't really a call to me, but I happened to be picking up the phone at work. So, as you guys may know by now, I work in a fast food place. It's a part-time job that I do. It's not the greatest money, but it's enough to get by. Plus, I'm able to save up for things like a driving license and, you know, pay for uni transport. So, that's always great. And I was just at work one day, waiting for either a customer to arrive or something to do. It was a fairly calm day. This was on Monday, so Mondays are usually the calmest day, because I think it's mostly when people are just not in the mood for fast food. And at some point, Google Maps called. Now, when I picked up the phone, I always just glance at the number that's being called, so I can tell what kind of customer, or if it's even a customer that's calling. Usually you can tell if it's a landline or not. Now, I hate the fact that I need to keep putting stuff on screen, but hopefully I remember to do this because I'm trying to save time when recording these videos. This is the number format for a UK mobile number, and this, well, there's 3 of them. These are the formats for a landline number. Now, a landline is basically a phone, but like one of those classic ones that's plugged into an Ethernet port somewhere in your wall, and you know, you pay for through your broadband subscription. And I saw that this was an 01 number. Usually 01 numbers are corporate numbers, 01 and 03. I'm not sure what 03 is, I've rarely seen that, but 01 is one that I see all the time. So I picked up the phone, and I was expecting it to be an Uber Eats phone call, because sometimes when our Uber Eats tablet isn't on, it just calls us, so then we know that we got an order, so that we could turn on the tablet and accept the order. But it was actually Google Maps. Now, at first, I had no idea what was going on. I heard a human voice talking to me. Not a robotic voice, a human voice, which is kind of confusing, but I'll get back to that in a second. And it was asking me if it called the right place. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal the name of my fast food place for obvious reasons. I think for future reference, I'm always going to call my fast food place Potato Chicken, just in all my videos, so yeah. So they called and asked if they called Potato Chicken, and I said yes. Now, here's the weird thing, right? If I was a human, usually you'd react within a second or two. You know, someone says yes and you continue on with what you wanted to say. But this took a second, so I was wondering, what's going on? Now, the person on the other end, again, I'm gonna get into that in a second, just didn't answer for a second. Like, it was a good 2-3 seconds, so a bit longer than the average pause after you respond yes to something. You know, it was not something that happened as a one-off, like the person on the phone wasn't half asleep. It was genuinely something that happened along the whole phone call. Anyway, they said that they were calling from Google Maps, which I was like, really confused about, and then it hit me before they even got to it. They were basically asking for our opening and closing times, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but when I responded to the opening and closing times, it actually took a bit longer to process what I'd said. So it basically asked me to confirm the closing times. Now, I'm pretty clear over the phone, and the phone that we have has a really good mic, and I've tested this. It's surprisingly well performing for, you know, a landline phone that was probably made in 2008. So I responded yes, again, a couple seconds where I asked to process after it repeated what I'd said. Was it from 12 p.m. to 12 a.m. because that's the opening and closing times, and did it. It just was like, thank you so much, have a good day, hang up. So the thing about this, right, is that I'm quite familiar with how, generally speaking, voice recognition algorithms work, because I may or may not be working on a voice recognition software called John. I had no interesting ideas for a name, okay? I'm sorry. I thought John was an easy to recognize name that doesn't sound like any English word, so at least I can call it something that it will understand. But generally, it takes a while to process. Depending on how advanced the algorithm is, it will be quicker. Now, obviously, this is Google we're talking about. They're pretty much the world leaders in voice recognition and AI. So it took a very small amount of time. Now, with me, if I was to do the same thing, it'd probably take around 45 seconds, maybe even more depending on how much background noise there is. But it was honestly impressive. It was the most interesting interaction with an AI I'd ever had. And I'm almost certain it's an AI, because the way Google works with this stuff is that they don't have a computer-generated voice speaking to you, because that's not particularly realistic, and sometimes it can be really hard to understand tone. Because obviously the English language is tone. Not as important as other languages like Mandarin, but it is quite important to, you know, understand and the emotion and the meaning behind something and how much emphasis you want to put into it. Now, the way Google does this is that they usually record someone beforehand to say certain words in different tones. Now, different words obviously require different tones, and it can pretty much organize each word and what tone it needs to be said in. Yeah, they just hire a voice actor to say tens of thousands of words in a mic all day, or possibly over the course of months, and they make it so then the words just fuse into each other as sentences go on. But it makes for some pretty astonishing results, because it really feels like you're talking to an actual human, which I've got to say, I'm not personally the biggest fan of, you know, the whole Google anti-privacy thing, but when it comes to that tech, I've got to give them a round of applause. It's honestly incredible. Anyway, this is a bit of a shorter video. I thought this was a very, very interesting event that happened to me, and I thought, you know what, I kind of want to make some bonus uploads, because I'd originally planned on 12 uploads. Now it's getting closer to 15 or 16, but yeah, bonus upload for you guys. Hope you guys have enjoyed. But have you ever wondered what Minecraft 1.19 might be? This video on screen now is basically what I think it is. Go watch it.